Okay guys, so I just got out of In-N-Out, but I really had to make this video because I know a lot of you guys will do techniques, you'll do affirmations, and you will feel like there's just something more that you need to do, right? Or better yet, whenever you hear that it's not the technique so much as who you are being, it's not so much the affirmation or the imaginal act and how powerful it is, it's the state that you are in when you do it. But you see, this is one of the most important things I'm going to tell you. The most powerful technique in manifestation is boring as hell. It's boring. It's boring. You think that you have to get out of a SAT session and start having exorcisms and seizures and, you know, jumping on the floor like speaking in tongues and doing backflips, you know, once you finally feel the Holy Spirit in your body. No. Okay? Hate to break it to you, but no, that's not what is going to happen when you finally find the technique that's going to make them text you. Right? Where you finally say the affirmation that's going to bring in all the money. It's simply about you putting in your consciousness the awareness of the person who has those things. That's why I always say that one of the most practical ways is to always ask yourself in every single second of the day. Well, actually, you know, not every single second of the day because that's annoying. But checking a mental, having a fucking mental diet where you're always asking yourself, what would the version of me who had those things be responding to the situation like? I mean, I used to say, what would the version of me do in this situation if I had the SP? But even that kind of is wrong, because when you tell a client, hey, just think of what would you be doing if you had your SP, they're like, oh, I would be thinking about how amazing it is to be with my SP. I would be so happy to have all the money. I would just be going to the store and be like, oh my gosh, I'm so rich over here. And then I'm going to go over there by the milk and I'm going to think of how rich I am over there. No. It's about what would the version of you who had those things and who's had them for years, how would they be responding to this? Right? Like if someone was to ask you, what would Abraham Lincoln say if he saw you scrolling through TikTok? Do you think he would be thinking, slaves? No. He would probably fucking look at it, and maybe because he was seemingly a very nice guy, be like, oh, what is that? And boom, that's it. That's all he would ask. Like imagine you being on a podcast and be like, so you met Abraham Lincoln? He came from the dead and he saw you scrolling on TikTok. What did he say? Was he telling you like, oh, this is the end of the generation, and you know, this is why no one will ever be able to free the slaves? Emancipation Proclamation. Did I just shoot somebody over here? No, he would not fucking say that. He'd probably be like, oh my gosh, wow, that's amazing. Why? Because he probably fucking never even saw a damn flip phone, let alone a phone that can fucking pay your State Farm insurance bill and do a video call with somebody thousands of miles away and fucking order a nuclear strike across the universe. Right? He'd be fucking amazed, right? Because we know that if Abraham Lincoln resurrected from the dead years later, he never would have seen a fucking phone before. And if you know that right now, if you're at the 7-Eleven buying a candy bar, and you know damn well that if you already had your SP for years, you would not be thinking about them all the time because you already have them. They're waiting for you at the house. Fucking them is like picking your nose. Kissing them and being intimate with them is like scratching your ass, right? Then you would just fucking focus on buying the candy bar, right? If you know that a person who's been rich for years, when they see a shitload of bills, they don't even think twice, then when your mind starts spiraling, just know that if you identify with that version of you who is giving into the spiraling, you are acting in the state of the person who is not rich, is not wealthy. Right? And I know you're going to say, oh, so what, now I have to just fucking not pay my bills? Or that, what money doesn't grow on trees, Neil. What the fuck? So I'm just supposed to where am I supposed to get the money for the fucking rent? You do whatever you have to do. Just know that whether you pay it, or whether you're fucking late, or whether you do a payment plan, or whether you rob a damn bank, whatever you do, if you remind yourself who you are internally, that's all that fucking matters. That's all that fucking matters. Now, to be frank, most likely you will make a much more wiser decision if you identify correctly. Because again, when you identify as the version of you who is paying all their bills and has no worry in the world, guess what? The less worry, the less stress. When you are acting as the version of yourself who's less stressed, who is not worried so much, guess what? You can think more clearer. You can breathe more easily. There's more room. There's more clarity. Okay? You're more sharp. Your decision making, your judgment is on point. Rather than when you're just constantly allowing yourself to identify with the demonism of your negative thoughts. Okay? What do the scriptures say? One of my favorite scriptures when we're talking about mental diet. Resist the devil and he will flee. Okay? Now, I know a lot of it is not just thoughts. A lot of you guys are just like, it's not so much that I think so negative, but it's just, I mean, fuck, it's been 6 months and still nothing. Like, what gives, Neo? What the fuck? But again, even when you say that you are identifying with something, what are you identifying right there? You're identifying with the feeling of, I feel frustrated because it's taking so long, right? And just so you know, you don't have to hear a thought to know. You don't have to hear the thought, I feel frustrated, to know that you feel frustrated. Everybody knows what it feels like to feel horny, but you don't hear your thought go, ah. Okay? We know what it fucking feels like, okay? He knows what it fucking feels like, all right? So you don't have to fucking remind yourself, okay? You know what the feelings are. It doesn't take that long. You know your body. Okay, and that's just the thing. It's just a feeling either ways. You are not the mind or the body. You are just the observer. So start identifying as the observer and stop identifying as parts of you that are external. And remember, external does not just mean what's outside of my windshield out here. It means what's outside of my windshield. It means my hands, what I see with my eyes. It means my brain, my thoughts, my feelings, my emotions, my perception of the past and the future. Anything that can be perceived is outside of you. A lot of people, when they think outside, they think, oh, it's my intestines. It's my brain, because it's not what people can see. It's inside my body. No, it doesn't mean what's inside your body. It means, in reality, I don't even like that word internal. When you think of internal, think of the observer. That's what I want you to think of. The observer of your life. The awareness of everything in your life. That is what we're talking about, internal. And when you can operate from that space, you will realize that you have the ability to look at your thoughts and decide if you're going to identify with them or not. And I know you're going to say, okay, so why is it that I only get negative thoughts? Because they are only going to feed you what you've been feeding it your whole life. If you want better thoughts, you just got to simply start over. And where do you start over? From awareness. You start telling yourself a new story. I have my SP. And I know you're going to be like, well, what the fuck? Like, I mean, because I get it. I know it sucks because it seems like our coach, us coaches are feeding you bullshit because we are telling you to be delusional. But you gotta trust that you never would have been broken up with. You never would have been broke. You never would have had this issue where you don't have your SP if you didn't manifest it beforehand. Everything that you see right now was manifested before. So now all you got to do is start the process over. Okay. Now, if you want to go more in depth in this, on this topic, if you have a situation that you need assistance with, book a call with me. The links are down below. I would love to work with you. And join the channel membership. You get discounts to all the consultations. Also, access to the next couple of months of videos. I love you guys. Take care.